We're back. Episode 4 with Brad Boyer here. We are going to be talking today about what makes a hitter elite at every level. So what makes a youth player elite? You've worked with kids on Team USA, and every level of a youth player, you've seen what youth players have done well or not done well and what it takes to succeed as a youth kid or as a youth player, as a kid hitting. Next, we're going to talk about high school. What makes a high school player elite? Because it's going to be different than youth and college. And we're going to talk about what makes a college player elite, what makes a minor leaguer elite, and what makes a big leaguer elite. You know, I think the coolest thing is your diversification, Brad. You have ability to not only connect, but communicate with players at every level. Not a lot of people have that ability. Like, so I'm just starting with a little acknowledgement of you is that's a very unique skill. Certain guys that I've talked to that are big league hitting coaches are like, would have no idea where to start when it comes to a little guy. But you have this unique ability to coach every player at any level and help them. You've helped MVPs and you've helped kids that are 10 years old become their own MVP on their team and succeed at the highest capability that they have an opportunity. So anyways, I know that you have this unique gift, and I kind of want to understand when you look at a youth guy versus a big leaguer, like what it's going to take to help that guy succeed.
Yeah, anytime I get a young kid, from a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, to even a professional, I first start out and I tell the kid and I tell the parent and the pro, Tommy, that every hitter is, you are your own artist. Every hitter is their own artist. And that's, I always stress, any of the guys I've worked with, that is the first thing I start out with is you are your own artist. And, you know, the little guys are probably like wondering what that means till I kind of explain and I say, each guy, you know, if you look at Trout and if you look at Bryce Harper and if you look at Mookie Betts and Freddie, they all have a unique setup and stance. They all have a unique rhythm, but they all have a flow and a dance in their setup and in their moves. But they all have elite commonalities. And I'll say that to a kid is what they do really well, once you see all these unique qualities of them, is they deliver the barrel efficiently. And I see that from when I see a youth kid that has success all the way up the ladder, they deliver the barrel efficiently. So they compress the cork.
Yeah, talking to explain that a little bit more. They deliver the barrel efficiently. What do you mean? Is that time in the zone? Is that contact? Like the old saying, square up a round ball with a round bat, good luck. Like how do they do that?
So when I see these patterns of these high level young kids to the older guys, they move, their body moves efficiently. They've never even been taught how to hinge into their back hip. But I see an unreal athlete, and they are receptive. Some of these kids, these young kids, they can take one of my unique frisbee drills, or I have a dog chuck it, and they're really good at, like, you know, doing the drill. Like, I show them a couple times and wow, they adapt.
So a youth player, his ability to adapt is the biggest thing that how quick can they make an athletic adaptation to a move?
Yeah.
And then the end result is them delivering the barrel efficiently.
Absolutely. Yeah. I will run them through a gamut of drills. And like I said, like this dog chuck it, you know, that throwing the tennis ball, and they're releasing that tennis ball back through the middle of the field. They'll take the frisbee and you'll see this natural movement of their back elbow. Well, these drills are working on bat path, and bat path is king. And what I see out of the youth, out of the best, their barrel gets into a really good vertical position where their knob is at the catcher's feet. They have great body control and bat to ball skills. And that's what I see.
So if a mom or dad was listening to this and, you know, their kid's 10 years old and they love baseball, the kid is just obsessed and he wants to get better and better, and the parents maybe don't have a lot of baseball background, what's the first piece of advice you're giving to that person? Are you saying, hey, see how quick they can adapt to a bunch of drills, develop their hand-eye coordination? Is it hit off a tee? Is it do soft toss? Is it take a million swings a day? Like, what would that piece of advice be?
Yeah. So after I say you are your own artist, I put the kid on video. So when I talk to the parent, they're like, wow, like my kid's a young kid. I don't know if he's going to be able to understand that. And I said, look, I know how to convey a message with simplicity, but I'm going to make it fun. But they're going to learn a ton by me getting them on video, showing what their swing is. And then I get my camera out and I start looking up what the great hitters do. And kids, when you're at a young age, and we're adapting a higher level of motor skill, because that's what baseball is, they love looking at like a hitter hitting a home run, and that they're processing that information at such a young age. So when I show them a Trout or a Mookie Betts, or I show them a Bryce Harper, they get excited because you're showing them hit a big home run. But at the same time, I'm slowing the video down. I'm saying, look at how they screw into the ground. Look at how they get into their back hip. And then look at when they get at foot strike and see where their barrel's at, their knob's at the catcher's feet. And now I want you to see how their back arm gets in from behind their back hip and it works on the railroad tracks all the way out the center. I said the elite hitters, they're in the zone for a long time. And I'm showing the parent and slowing it down. The kids are like, whoa, wow. So then I don't just throw any drill. There's a purpose behind every drill. So if the kid doesn't have any back leg stability and can't hinge, I'll walk on in here, T, you'll see me come here. I grab one of these bands back here. I'll, connect it to a pole, put it against their back leg, and I'll have them step out a little bit and they can feel they're planted, they're anchored in the ground. And kids learn by like feeling something. And when they process that and you go back in and you show the video and you're like, do you see how now you're holding the ground just like Trout or, Mookie Betts? And they're like, whoa. And so they start to buy in. That's where the parents really kind of go, wow, this is a little bit different than just getting reps.
That's awesome. So really, like, the player's ability to adapt at the youth level is what's going to make him elite. That's what I'm kind of hearing.
Yeah. And T, I when I come in here and I see you working with all levels of kids to high school to pros, I feel like your interactions with them and what you do in here when it comes to the pitching or it comes to like the hitting stuff, like you have a purpose on how they connect to throw. All kids want to throw with higher velocity, right? But you break it down in such a way that you make it fun and creative. And that's something that I really enjoy watching you do that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I think like for me, like if I transition to high school players, like I honestly don't get them until I feel like they're in window 2 of trainability. So the 4 windows of trainability to me are 9 to 14. That's neurological development, fundamental flexibility and stability. Window 2 is foundational strength. So that's where we're developing their strength. Window 3 is skill development, skill acquisition. So that's 19 to 26. Think about pros. They're always just trying to refine that skill. And then 26 to 35 and beyond is window 4. And that's fast twitch retention. At 28 years old, every year after, we lose a little bit of our ability to recruit fast twitch muscle fibers. So we're trying to stay fast, whether it's strong, maintaining strength to be fast, or quick twitch exercises. That's what we're doing. So I typically don't work with a kid until they've entered, that 15, 16, so that I can really help them with the strength stuff. But everything you're telling me about a youth player is spot on. You're helping them with stability in their hip, and loading into the backside and the neurological development of adaptation into swings. So let's jump right into high school guys. When you work with an elite high school guy, whether it's a draft pick or a first team all league guy, or, you're just that really solid high school player, what do you notice the similarities of those high school players?
One with an elite high school player, again, it's plate discipline. It's they have an elite game plan. They are observant during the game. I see a lot of the best players. They are watching the pitcher in warmups. They're seeing, does he throw strikes? Does his curveball, what's his curveball? What kind of break does it have? What kind of life does the fastball have? They're preparing for the moment, and that's something that is huge, that I think just like the average player, I think they're messing around with their buddies, or they're not really locked in. Look, go out and have fun and hang out with your buddies when you're on the bench, but like when it's time for battle, I see these elite young guys, they are observing. And they are understanding pattern recognition of how what is this pitcher, when there's runners in scoring position, what's his out pitch? They have an idea and a game plan, and then from there, when it comes to the physical side, it's the elite bat to ball skills. They might have some small inefficiencies in their swing, but they have just the ability to win an at bat, and they have an ability to get the barrel on the ball.
Wow. So they're cognitively more in tune. So they're more focused. The elite high school player is more focused, game plan, mental approach. And then they have elite bat to ball. And I think I'm just going to add in, like, they're stronger. I think the best high school kids, the easiest place to be a separator as a high school player is strength.
Yeah, that's another thing, is they have an elite engine. They got a Ferrari engine. There's fast twitch in them. They're more physically built. Now, some are more gifted than others, and some have to work more at it. But yeah, these guys hit the ball far, and they hit the ball harder than more consistently.
Yeah, something I'm like really proud of too right now is like our high school guys. If you stacked it up, like the amount of guys that are in this gym that have hit home runs in their high school season, we have a crazy tally of home runs in this gym right now. And that's because that's our actual focus, is if we can get these guys stronger than everybody else, get them stronger than their competition, and teach them a game plan, and then make sure that they're paying attention during that game, and continue to reinforce bat to ball, like these guys are going to be the best players at this level.
Yeah, when and to add on to that, when I see a lot of these high level high school guys coming in here, they get to work and they have a purpose. And yes, they're physical, but they're willing to challenge themselves. And what I mean by that is they aren't cheating on a rep. They're coming in here and banging out the full workout program you put down. They're after it. And then they come into the cage, and after they get their work in, I all see them have a little routine, but then they get off the machine and they challenge themselves, because that's where we create adaptability and we prepare ourselves for competition. Would you say that's something?
So good. So then you kind of transition into college, right? And these players transition to college. You work with a lot of college hitters, whether it's remote and you're breaking down their swings, they're at bats for them. They got a little time over winter break. They're getting their cage session in every time they're home with you. What do you notice is a separator for a college player?
With an elite college player, we start to see like high level body awareness, a high level game plan, and mechanically, because we know all these guys, can drive the ball out of the ballpark. If they're a 5'8" guy, or if they're, a guy that's 6'5", they all have the ability to do that. And they're back to ball. Some of them are a little bit better than others, but the guys that are getting drafted in the first round and going high, they can hit a high level fastball. They can hunt the fastball, and they have a bat path that creates adjustability. And what I mean by that is they have the ability to get in from behind their backside. They create a good right angle, and they have the ability to have a margin of error. So if they don't hit the ball perfectly, they still have a chance to hit a line drive on their B swing and get on base and keep improving their numbers.
Wow. That's so cool. It's so specific. You think about the youth player, the high school player, the college player. There's specific markers that you witness that show success. And like a college player, for example, like this, if you're listening to this and you're at any of these levels, or you're a parent that's listening to this and thinking about your son as you listen to it, or if you're a coach and you're thinking about the players that you work with, Brad has seen the highest levels of success with every single level. Like, you've seen the best youth players, you have seen the best high school players, you've seen the best college guys, the best minor league guys, the best big leaguers, and you know what it takes. So if I'm listening to this and I'm going to be smart and actionable, I'm taking notes on all right, I'm in high school. I'm going to be highly focused on getting better at these three things. What did they say? They said having a game plan, being strong, and then having elite bat to ball. Okay, I'm going to put all my eggs in those baskets and be focused on those things. I'm a youth player. I'm going to try a million different drills. Like, I'm going to see how much I can adapt. I'm a college guy. I need to handle the heater. Like, I need to handle the heater. Maybe I don't hit the breaking ball that well right now, or maybe I'm off timing on my changeup, but I'm going to be so great at mashing a heater.
Yeah, T. If I know, I have a couple of my buddies are farm directors. One's with the Giants, the Dodgers. Another guy with the Royals, and they're like, B, to hit at this high level, you need to be able to mash a heater. You need to be able to be on time and to deliver the barrel, and you need to be able to pull the ball with true backspin. Because at this level, and T, you're a pitching coach, and you see it pounding the guy on the inner half and hit it true without top spin or rolling over or not, getting fisted. You got to have like quick hands, but you also got to have a path that gets in the zone. But you got to be on time, and you got to be able to get the head through the baseball. And if you can't handle a high level heater, that's something you're going to have to really work on, because in this game right now, we see the velocity, T. It's every guy's 97 to 100 out of the bullpen, and even starters now. These guys are absolute horses. And T, what would you say? Because I see in here, you guys have that machine revved up. It doesn't mean that's what they're going to be seeing in the high school game, but you're preparing them for the long run.
Exactly. And if you can get the player to handle velocity, in order to handle velocity, you got to clean up path. You can't have inefficient movements and handle velocity. And that's why the velocity exposes a lot of guys. Now, velocity with spin, and you got to have the adjustability within that bat path. That's a whole nother level. And I don't know, like I haven't asked you these questions before. I'm curious, what makes a minor leaguer a really standout minor leaguer?
When we look at the minor leaguers, is their ability to drive the ball to all fields. If we're looking at an elite minor league player, right? Like, there's really good hitters that are just pull side or drive the ball oppo. But when it comes to becomes an elite minor leaguer, it's being able to handle multiple pitch speeds, multiple depths, and to be able to drive the ball to all fields, and to be able to have the discipline when someone is throwing a heater and comes in with nasty off speed, is don't cheat. When you cheat, we become vulnerable. Trust that you got quick hands, trust your move. And if you're going to get jammed a little, that's fine. I'll take my RBI with a 2-strike approach, and I'm letting the ball get deep and I get jammed and hit over the shortstop's head. Yeah. Don't get greedy. Just understand to trust and let that ball travel.
Wow. And what would you say for a big leaguer?
With the major league guys, it's going to be the same thing. When you look at the Manny Ramirez's, the Ryan Brauns, you look at Miguel Cabrera, Mookie Betts, these guys, it's bat path is king. They have an elite. They all have a different feel. There's field versus real, so they all have their special cues and triggers that allows them to deliver the barrel efficiently. Something down on top to get to that ball. Something swing up. Some are just more like, I want to feel grounded, but these guys have elite hand-eye coordination, body awareness, and they know how the pitcher's going to attack them, and they stick to a game plan. And that's something that really jumps out if you're going to be a high-level all-star in this game.
Wow. Christian, bringing him up again, we talked about him on the last episode, but Christian, I remember in a cage maybe 7-8 years ago, I was playing, he was hitting with my brother in high school. So nice. He offers so much knowledge. And he said something like, the difference between, he was exploring the difference between each level. And he said a high school player will make adjustments year to year. A college player has the ability to make them week to week. A minor leaguer is making them, at bat to at bat. And a big leaguer is making them pitch to pitch. And he said the ability to adjust and make adaptations fast is the difference between the levels. And I kind of I think you were there that day. He was talking about that. But we might have been hitting with Tarek Brock too. You remember that?
Yeah,
you remember
that
Tarek Brock? He was first base coach with the Pirates.
Yeah. And that was that down in the valley in Encino somewhere in an outdoor cage?
We were in we were in the Easton Hit Lab.
Okay.
You were there.
Yeah.
You were there.
We had the whole crew there.
Yeah, we had the whole crew there, and Tarek was there, coaching, and Christian just had this like awesome like second where he just dropped a knowledge bomb. And it was something I'll never forget because I was like, wow, that's so accurate. Like a high schooler will try to like make some changes or, get better at something or make an adjustment season to season, where a college guy is able to make an adjustment week to week and a minor leaguer can look at it at bat. And then he's like a big leaguer notices it pitch to pitch.
Yeah, you hit it right on the spot. And what Christian is saying is that's impressive to be able to do it when there's pressure, there's big moments, and to be able to slow the game down and to be able to like take a step out, take a deep breath. You'll see some of those guys, that's kind of part of their routine. Quick visual of how the pitcher's attacking him, or a quick visual of like, all right, I'm envisioning like myself hitting a ball through the center field wall. But you'll see a lot of those hitters, they'll step out for a quick moment and then they'll get back in it. And that quick adjustability, that is a huge separator, huge. And you see Christian does it, the bronze.
How would you coach someone to develop that?
So one of the things I do with like some of these high school, college, or the minor league guys is I really emphasize if you're in the on deck circle, you're envisioning your path, your rhythm. And then when you get in the box, if you foul one off or you take a pitch, you take a quick step out and it's an affirmation to yourself. I'm the man. I'm seeing the ball well. I will drive a ball into the gap. It's always going back to the affirmations with a quick visual. If that same pitch shows up, what am I doing? Seeing, because you can't think mechanically. The game's happening too fast. But do you have the ability to put a quick visual of positivity and then jump on that?
Different sport, same concept with golf. You could be working on your swing on the range, but then when you're playing, even though golf is so slow and so boring for so many people, but the people who know any sport at a high level say, man, it moves fast. Like you could step up, to a shot, and you got to be able to more so, I think, less think about your mechanics on the golf course and more think about, all right, the visual. And like you get the mic'd up golfers and you follow Scotty Scheffler or whatever. And, the caddy will be saying the same sort of stuff that we're saying out on the course. We're amateurs, below, we're not these elite golfers, but they're saying the same things. Hey, you see that tree, see the wind. All right, see yourself hitting a good shot here, land it. Like that's what the highest level people are thinking about. And it just goes to your point of in the moment, go to the affirmation, go to the mental cueing, go to the focal point, and then execute from there. Don't try to fix all the mechanics at once. I think maybe even a high school player, that might be their problem, is like they're trying to fix their mechanics mid-game rather than trusting the work that they've done. And where the big leaguer isn't even thinking about the mechanics, he's thinking about that mental cue.
Yeah. I mean, you'll see it like even college to high school, they're tinkering. They're thinking, why did I miss that? Because it was a mechanical flaw. Well, were you on time? Like, do you have the ability to when I say be your own CEO, when you step out, do you have the ability quickly to go, was I on time or did I fly off my front side or was I jumpy? All right, deep breath. See a quick visual to slow that game down, and going to your point, T. You've actually have stepped outside the box, and you've worked with some golfers. I mean, I've seen you hit the ball, T, and you play the golf game pretty darn well. How do you, when you go out with some of these golfers, is this are these similar things that I'm saying resonate to you?
Yeah, I think like I understand movement patterns, I understand rotational athletes, so like I can have the mechanics talk, but I think, when it comes to golf, like it's the same sort of deal as a hitter in baseball. Is you're not trying to make the mechanical change. You have to trust your process, trust your work, trust your swing. And then you're going to that mental cue that's setting you up for success and staying consistent in what that cue is. Not trying to change so much swing to swing, but more so executing what that is each given shot.
Yeah, T, and this is what I want to really emphasize on for the younger kids, for the youth, the high school. even the college game, but mostly for the younger kids is I try to tell parents these experiences shape who we are. We have to go through some of this adversity. We have to have our bad days. We have to, the more ABs, the more, you're in the box and you're not just focusing on chasing the numbers, but being more process driven. And I emphasize that to parents is these experiences, that's going to help them understand what a changeup, what a breaking ball, and understand, how I make adjustments. We don't want to praise them for we went 4 for 4 today. How many quality at bats can I look myself in the mirror after the game and go, son, you went up there with conviction. You went up there with a plan. That's success. And is that something, T, would you kind of is that some advice that,
I would reinforce the same messages, reward, the important thing, which is reward your son's process, or coach towards improving their process. Don't reward results. Don't reward, or discipline based off of bad results, because the game is it's so up in the air. You could have a great process and smoke the ball 4 times in one game and go 0 for 4. You're going to punish that kid for that. And I've seen a lot of parents do that. They'll get on him and you were 0 for 4. It's well, yeah, but I had a great plan and great process. If I go take 100 at bats like that, I'm going to get, 50 hits at the youth level.
Yeah.
And so, but that's where I think the ball is dropped, is they reward the result or get mad at the result. And that's not it. Reward the plan or coach the plan. And those would be the 2 ways I'd talk to a kid about it.
Yeah. I mean, there's too many distractions that I see at this younger level. Is when they're in the box, they're looking over to see what their coach did after they took a swing, or they're
looking at what their parents are saying, or if they posted on Instagram, or we could go down and do a whole nother episode on that. But let's close this one up right here. I think that's solid. I think we understand what makes players elite now in the box at every level, from the youth to the high school, to the college, to the minor, to the big leaguers. So that's awesome.
Yep. That was awesome, T.